Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to the local space that I genuinely love recording in, the Trolley Room in Somerville, South Carolina. If you're a creative, a small business owner, or someone who just needs a quiet, professional place to work or record, this place is such a gem. They offer a private office space, a beautiful conference room with a flexible event space, and a dedicated podcast studio. It's calm, well set up, and makes the whole process feel super easy, which we always need more of. You can learn more at thetrolleyroom.com and also go follow them on Facebook. Welcome to the Cyclical Doula podcast. I'm Emma, a certified Sympto-Pro instructor, a fertility awareness educator, and your guide to fertility coaching and reproductive health education from menarche to menopause and all the different types of motherhood in between. If you're seeking a natural, science-backed approach to managing your fertility, understanding your cycle, or simply connecting with your body in a new way, you're in the right place. Each episode is designed to empower you with the tools, knowledge, and confidence you need to thrive in your unique journey. Quick disclaimer, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice or individualized charting support. For specific guidance, please consult with your healthcare provider or fertility awareness instructor. Now, let's dive into today's topic.
Welcome to the space where cycles breathe, where the real raw life of a mama leads. From motherhood's highs to charting the low, your body's story is the star of the show. Matriarch heart.
Today, I'm sitting down with someone who brings so much heart, clarity, and grounded support into the world of birth work. Natalie is a professional birth doula, childbirth educator, and the founder of A Brighter Birth Charleston, or owner. And she helps women and families through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. She is a fierce advocate for informed, confident birth and brings a calm, steady presence into every space she enters. She is passionate about maternal care, community support, and helping families feel equipped and empowered. We'll talk a little bit about cycle tracking today, probably, and how our rhythms shape motherhood and wellness. I'm so excited to talk to you. Welcome to the podcast.
Excited. Yay.
Awesome. Well, tell us who you are a little bit, maybe outside of just that you're the owner of A Brighter Birth Charleston.
Gosh, does anybody even know who's like nowadays? Honestly, when people ask that question, well, outside of that, I'm a mom. Obviously, I'm a mom of 6 blended. My husband and I have a big chaotic blended family of 6. I have 3, and then he also has 3. If I'm not working or anywhere in the birth world, I'm either at the gym or with, my kids, they're competitive gymnasts. If you're in Charleston, go Goose Creek. So that takes up the majority of my time. But if I'm not doing any of that, I'm a gamer. I love to play video games, weirdly enough.
It's not weird, but it's not something I do, so
I'm like,
don't connect to people.
You play video games. I'm like, yes, I love, I sit down at night and I either pull up Fortnite or just cozy, like low stimulation video games, I guess. But yeah, it's fun and it's a good outlet. So yeah, that's pretty much who I am.
Love it.
Yeah.
So cool. So I've been asking everybody what their favorite rhythm or ritual is.
Okay.
What's your favorite rhythm or ritual? At least in the season or maybe ever.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, that also ties into what I kind of just talked about, video games.
Yeah.
I mean, either video games or a book. And I think moms or, parents everywhere can relate with you get your kids down to bed at night and you just kind of have that second to decompress.
Mm-hmm.
And you either, if you're like me, I'm like, oh, do I watch the show? Do I read the book? Do I play video games? And you're just like, what do I do? So yeah, either getting lost in a book, just to take you to another
a different brain space. Yeah.
Or just sitting down to play some video games with friends and just chill for a little. And that's been my ritual. It's do the work, get the kids to bed, take a minute to decompress, and then go somewhere else. And it's fun. It helps for a little. For a little.
Sometimes it's helpful to just kind of escape for a moment.
Yes.
Is there
Absolutely.
something that fills your cup on a regular?
Yes. Lately it's been my husband.
Nice.
This whole month, like the season, everything
Yeah.
has just been so incredibly stressful. We're also moving to a new house.
That's a whole
Um,
nother level of stress.
in the chaos of the holidays and work and kids. So lately it's just like when, the house is quiet and everybody is in bed, we've just been like, what the hell is up?
Yeah.
How's your like what's going on? Because we both are working and it's hard.
Yeah.
So we just been sitting down at the end of the day and we just talk.
Yeah.
And like, okay, how are we gonna get through these next few days? And like
Mhm.
we can do it just one day at a time. And that helps like set the mood for the next day,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's been it. And just hanging out with friends. I've been
Yeah.
trying to be like, hey, I'm really busy, but do you want to talk on the phone for an hour or so?
Yeah.
Complete and utter chaos. So yeah.
That's awesome. So, what brought you to the Charleston area?
Yeah,
Because you've been all over,
I
right?
have.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Charlotte,
Yep.
Concord area, so not too far. Um, Growing up, though, my dad was
Yep.
military, my stepbrother was military, so them being stationed in Charleston, like we just went back and forth. So
Okay.
Charleston's not new to me. I just
All
never
right.
lived here.
Right.
But I lived in Hawaii for 4 years and then moved back to Charlotte. I met my husband when I was living in Charlotte. Shout out to Tinder. And then we did long distance for a little bit, and then I was like, I'm over it. I'm gonna come there, and kind of just decided to make the move.
Yeah.
And we've been in Charleston now for going on 3 years. So
Nice. That's
yeah,
awesome. Okay, so you've been all over, and I think, if I remember correctly, you started doing birth work when you were in Hawaii. Is
yeah,
that right? Okay, so
yes.
tell me about like what led you into that, and can you remind me how your oldest that
Mhm.
you birthed,
Yeah.
like that's how old are they?
So my oldest is 9.
Yeah,
My biological
yeah, right, right,
oldest
right.
is 9. And then my middle is 7, and my youngest is 4.
Okay,
Yep.
great. When were you in Hawaii in that, and like how did you get into birth work?
Yeah. So my oldest was born here in Fayetteville, actually. My
Okay,
ex at the time was stationed in Fort Bragg, and she was there, and it was mediocre cookie cutter
yeah, yeah,
induction, horrible, like downhill. I didn't know anything. But when I lived in Hawaii, I had my second, and I wasn't a doula then,
yeah,
but again, same thing, I knew I wanted better, but still kind of falling into that cookie cutter,
yeah, yep.
induction, the whole process, and then I just remember thinking I wanted something more for myself, but I always knew I wanted to, like, help other people,
Mm-hmm.
so being a stay-at-home mom in that time, that was a really difficult time for me,
Right.
um, I wanted more for myself, so, I just kinda started researching, and I always loved the mothering, motherly aspect,
Yeah.
helping babies, maternal, whatever, so I found doula training and, gave it a shot, and, I mean, from there, it just skyrocketed. I
Yeah.
also met Melanie, which is the founder of A Brighter Birth, over in Richmond, met her at that doula training,
Okay.
so that I always say that doula training, like, changed my life
Yeah. I'm
in
sure, like,
so many
completely
ways.
different trajectory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it changed everything
Yeah.
for me.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, that's you've been doing birth work there for a while,
Yeah.
and you've dabbled in a bunch of different aspects of that, right? You've done,
Yeah.
births, have you done any postpartum work?
I don't do a lot
Okay.
of postpartum work,
But you've
just the initial, like,
yeah. Yeah.
post-birth
Yeah,
check-in.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you've done birth photography and are bringing that back to Charleston too, so that's
So
exciting.
excited for that. And, like, that was just such a whim thing.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
came out of nowhere, which is wild. Like, I did it in Hawaii a little bit, not professionally where I, like, had a fancy camera and I, like,
I mean, you're
really
there,
took it
so, like,
serious.
taking some pictures for people, I'm sure is always helpful.
Like, "Hey, I have this camera, I'm just gonna bring it and, like, snap photos," and
Yeah.
then I would send it to them. And I loved doing it there, but then, I stepped behind the camera for one of our other collective members, Valerie.
Yeah.
She's a newborn maternity photographer as well, and, I took her photos for her birthday, and I think it just, like, it just happened. I was
Oh,
like, "Ugh,
yeah.
I miss this," and then
Yeah.
we went down the rabbit hole of, "What if I brought it back?" And yeah, it's back.
I love it. I'm so excited. Also, you posted the other day about looking for a backup, and I was like, "Do I wanna get into birth photography?"
Do it. Do it. I know, and I'm like, you don't think about these things, like, when you go
Yeah.
into it, but then you're like, "Dang, what if I'm with another client?"
Right,
Or
right, right.
so
Yeah,
I need somebody. It's just like birth. You
totally.
need
You need backups. Yeah, absolutely.
for
So
sure.
good. Um, all right. So you became a birth worker, you moved to Charleston to be here.
Mhm.
How did and you knew Melanie from who owned it, the Brighter Birth in who owns the Brighter Birth in Richmond.
She owns Richmond, yeah,
Yeah,
I met her through that doula training in Hawaii, and then we've just kind of, like, been connected ever
yeah,
since.
yeah,
She was, like, the biggest inspiration to me. I was like, "Wow, I wanna be just like her. She's amazing, the most, like, down-to-earth, gentle-hearted person I've ever
yeah,
met." And she's a total badass. I mean, she's doing it, you know?
yeah.
So I was like, "Wow, look at this look at this woman right now, like, she's great. I wanna be like her, like, total powerhouse." And yeah.
So what made you think about opening up A Brighter Birth Charleston?
Yeah, like, how did
Yeah.
that even happen? So when I moved here to Charleston, I had taken a break from birth,
Right.
because I was in this, like, new transition of life, you
Yeah,
know? I was,
yeah.
divorced. I was in a new relationship.
Mhm.
I was moving to a new city.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
You still had a bunch of little kids?
I had babies. And I think I was, I was wanting to start it,
Mhm.
again. But kind of figuring out how do I step back into this in a new city where
Yeah.
there's new people. And so like everybody else does, I went to Facebook, I went to socials,
Yeah.
I'm doing Google searches and it was very quiet.
Mhm.
And, I knew a few doulas from my doula organization that I
Okay.
work with maternity wise. So I knew there were some. I wasn't super familiar, but just going on Facebook and like, hi, I'm a new doula in town. I just moved here. Like, I would love to learn the community. Like, let's get together. Crickets. And
Mm.
I was like, there's
There's gotta be somebody.
got to be people here. Like, and in Charlotte, the community was poppin',
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Facebook groups for doulas and birth workers, there's thousands in there, everybody is collaborating, everybody's
Yeah.
talking, getting together, they're backups for each other. I had no problem, like, knowing my community
Right,
there.
right, right.
And when I came here and tried to do that, I was like, it just wasn't
Mhm.
happening.
Mhm.
And so I, was thinking, I want to make something of this. I want
Right.
to like, I know people are there, but I need to, like, outreach more. So, what started as I wanna make my own something,
Yeah.
I went to Melanie and I said, "Hi, this is what I'm running into." And she's like, "Let's talk. Well, how would you like to open A Brighter Birth in Charleston with you, like, at the helm?"
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, "Absolutely.
Yes. Sign me up.
Absolutely, right now."
Yeah.
And that's just kinda how it started.
That's awesome.
We went down the process of starting a business here,
Yep.
and here's how A Brighter Birth operates,
Mhm.
She flew me up to Richmond for a weekend, and I got to meet everybody and learn the ropes and learn how to run a business, and, we're a year in Charleston, and it is growing every single day.
Yeah.
So,
So great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Love
It's
it.
I'm lucky to be a part of it. But yeah, so I think when you're looking at all of this, now that you're like a year into
Mhm,
being in this part of the Charleston community, do you feel like you said there's been a lot of growth, it's growing every day.
mhm.
How much do you feel like it's changing like the community aspect of it?
I think is changing so much
Yeah.
in little ways. Like
Yeah.
as business owners, I'm sure a lot of people listening are a business owner in some way, shape, or form.
So many of us are.
So many of us, and even yourself, like as a business owner, when you're constantly doing the same work every day, you may feel like, what do I need to do more? Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
I keep growing? What can I do to make a difference? And sometimes you may feel, you know, like, not motivated
Yeah.
or like, "What am I doing this for?"
Yeah.
And then you talk to somebody or you have one conversation or just one moment, and they're like validating everything that you're doing. And
Mhm.
they're like, I love this. This is amazing. Our community needs this. You're doing great work. And then you're kind of just like, okay,
Okay. I can do it again.
this is
I
this
can
is
keep going.
exactly like why I'm doing this. I
Yeah.
know like things are working.
Yeah.
People are benefiting from it. I think like to answer that question in a more rounded aspect though, like I've had a client who has utilized many of our collective members for, chiropractic care with me being their doula and then
Mhm.
acupuncture and going to get a massage and like they're talking to everybody and they're getting services and they're taking these referrals that we're, handing them and then they're having amazing experiences from everybody.
Yeah.
And that right there was like,
That's
this
exactly
is this is what
yeah.
this is about.
Yeah, for sure.
Full rounded care, the community support, the just all of it.
Yeah.
And their experiences are high end.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. There's some amazing people in the collective.
I love our collective so much.
Do you collective wise, is there a favorite aspect of how you kind of mentioned how like some people like they're getting into working with you and then they're like seeing everybody, but is there
Yeah.
something else about the collective that really just like stands out to you about
Yeah.
the way that you love it?
I honestly like my favorite thing about the collective is our collective gatherings.
Yes.
And it's
Which I
really
haven't made one yet. Keep getting sick or like travel.
no, and it's like
I crossed off everything in January. I will be there.
so excited. Probably the collective gatherings. I think, we aim to do 4 a year.
Yeah.
They're quarterly. And it's really just a time for all of us as women,
Yeah.
all of us as business owners to come together. We bring a dish, something to share, and we just gather
Yeah.
and hang out
So
and
important.
talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I have had some amazing ideas come
Yeah.
out from these
For sure.
gatherings where I'm just talking to another member and I'm
Yeah.
like, how's your life, man? What is working for you in your business? We all
Mhm.
need that extra support
For sure.
being a business owner. I mean,
For
it's
sure.
hard and a woman and just having somebody to lean on. But then so much comes from them, like, oh, what are you struggling with? I know somebody for you.
Right.
Let me connect you.
Right.
And all having like the same kind of values are there. So we know that we're going to get that quality care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So those are my favorite. And when I tell people about that, they're like, I love that. Like I need that.
Yeah.
We don't as people or women, we don't take that time, most of us, to be like, yeah, I'm going out, or
Yeah.
I need this time for myself as much as we want to.
No, not at all.
As much as we
Especially
want
and
to.
like you live a similar life of like your husband does shift work
Yeah.
and like my husband is a flight attendant, like he's gone days at a time. And it's like how like running a business and also like parenting,
so
being the primary parent
hard.
can be such a
Yeah.
mess.
I don't I will be the first to say I do not have a good like work parent like
Yeah.
that balance.
Well, you like can't, especially with birth work, like you're on call.
It
Like,
is.
yeah.
I'm on call. I also work full time for my certifying organization.
Right.
So, there's times where I'm getting off a birth and then I need to hop on the computer to chat with people and
Yeah.
return phone calls. And, that's hard. And then there's times where I'm like sitting there like, damn, I didn't spend enough time with my kids today. Or like my kid is in the living room, watching a movie. Let me go read a book. I did that last night. I was like, damn, let me get off my computer for 5 minutes and
Yeah.
read them a book.
Man,
And I was
what
like,
the mom guilt of that.
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's very hard. So, yeah, it's tough,
Mhm.
but we make it work.
We do.
We
Absolutely.
do it all.
So you've shared with me in the past that you track your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about like how you even came about this? Because a lot of people like don't really know that they can
Right.
in a like useful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember I'm dating back to like 9 years ago when my daughter was born. But before her, I tried to get
Yep.
pregnant. I was very young, kind of just coming off birth control. Like things were a little wonky. I remember just being in tons of Facebook groups at the time
Yeah.
and so much information out there.
Information
Um,
overload
so,
for sure.
so much information. I was like, what? Somebody recommended the Flow app, the
Yeah.
very
Right.
famous Flow app. And how you can track like trying to get pregnant or trying to avoid pregnant. I was trying to get pregnant. And I just remember reading people's like discussion boards and things that
Yeah.
they're typing, and I learned a lot from that, from other people's experiences and trying to naturally track my cycles to get pregnant.
Right.
It was successful, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at first,
Yeah.
but I did it, I guess. And then, there was after her where continued to track to avoid pregnancy.
Mhm.
And I kept doing that and it worked. And, I wasn't doing the whole like temping and
Yep.
charting it. I was more like, here's when I started my period.
Right.
Okay, my, cervical mucus is clear and stretchy. I must be ovulating now. I must be
Yep.
close to ovulating. Let me not be intimate in this time.
Yeah.
And then, couple weeks later, boom, my period started again. So I was tracking that way.
Yep.
And then fast forward to now, I'm still tracking, I'm
Yeah.
still doing it. But there were a couple times, like maybe a year or two ago recently, where I was noticing that I was starting to feel sick during like a certain time of the month.
Mhm.
And then there was also a few times where I would just be like a raging,
For sure.
hormonal, like crying all the time. You cannot talk to me or be near me. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's going on. And then my cycle would start and I'd be like, oh, just kidding. I'm fine.
I'm fine. Everything's
Never mind.
fine.
Like, false alarm. And I took that to my doctor, my
Yeah.
therapist, and she had me document those symptoms in correlation to my cycle.
Yeah.
And so I was noticing that I was feeling, nauseous. I was having headaches, just feeling really weird, side pain. And it
Mhm.
was always around the time I was ovulating or super
Yeah.
fertile. So in my like high follicular phase. And
Yeah.
then when I was like, you can't approach me, you can't talk to me, crying all the time, I was about 7 to 5 days out, like peak luteal phase.
Yeah.
And so when I took that, she was like, "You have PMDD,
Mhm.
which is the premenstrual dysphoric disorder."
Yeah.
Get that right?
I think so.
I think so. So I was like, "Okay, this is," and, if you're listening and you don't know what PMDD is, it is basically just like a giant, huge, elevated, like, PMS. Like,
Yeah.
your moods are
Mhm.
times 10.
Yeah.
And so tracking now, knowing I have this
Right.
disorder
Right.
is key.
Yeah. So are you using, obviously I'm sure you have a lot of different tools, but are you using tracking to like know when those phases are coming so that you like can kind of like help support yourself better
Absolutely.
in those ebbs and flows of
Yep.
that? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I'm still, I don't always get, nauseated and headaches and when I'm like close to ovulation, but there are times where
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I think it's that like peace of mind because I am emetophobic. Like I can't do vomit. I'm like the most anxious about it. And so when I do get
Yeah.
nauseous,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm just ovulating. This will pass in
It's
a
not the
little
stomach
bit.
bug for the sixth time running through our house.
Gosh, I know. I'm so anxious about it. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm ovulating. I'll be okay. Or,
Yeah.
I get sharp pains in my side. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's fine. Let me just chill, get a little heating pad, relaxing, and it's fine. But I think for like my moods, when I am in my luteal phase,
Yeah.
I have to like alert my husband. I'm like, hey, I'm about 7 to 5 days out. So I'm very sorry for anything that comes out of my
Yeah.
mouth,
Yeah.
and he really steps it up in that time. He's like, "All right, I gotcha.
Mhm.
No worries."
Yeah. Awesome. How do you feel like that affects like parenting and birth work?
Mm. I have been so fortunate not to have a birth in
Yeah.
any of this
Yeah. Yeah.
period, knock on wood. Um, so I
So I
can't
feel like
talk on that.
it's just gotta be so draining if that, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Parenting is hard. I mean, I'm very fortunate that my kids are on the older side. My
Yeah.
daughter's 9.
Yep.
She somewhat kind of
Right.
understands, not to an extent, but, I don't use like nicknames or terms. I
Yeah.
will straight up tell her, "Hi, I got my period. I'm cramping a lot. I'm really sore. Like I just need a little bit." And she will be like, "Here's a heating pad. Here's a blanket. What can I
So
get
cute.
you?" Like she's great.
Yeah.
My boys, they could care less.
Living in
But
their own world.
they're like, "Whatever, you don't feel good? Okay." Um, but parenting is hard because there's times where I have to
Yeah.
go to the room for a minute and just breathe
Yeah.
and I'll cry,
Yeah.
early bedtimes, and then
Mhm.
I'm like, "Ugh," you know, whatever I need to do
For sure.
in that sense. So, I just have to be really communicative with my husband and be like, "Please,
Yeah.
I need a minute."
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like what a powerful thing to be able to be so aware to just be like, I need a break.
Yeah,
Like I need some time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Um, do you how do you feel like you're seeing birth work and living like cyclically connect?
Gosh. I
Or not
do
if you
I know, I'm like, I mean, tracking your cycles and just being aware of your body is so important, and
Yeah.
I can go down a rabbit hole of why, um, but especially right now. Times right now are hard,
Yeah.
even, maternally.
Mhm.
There's bans going on. Being a woman
Mhm.
is so difficult right
For
now.
sure.
So, it is key to know your body. I would,
Mhm.
if somebody's watching and they're like toying with that idea,
Yeah.
just dive into it. Knowledge is
Yeah.
power.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is power, and the more you know what's going on with your body, the more you can kind of grasp your life, a little
Yeah.
bit. But I mean, especially in birth work, you know, I can't even say like so much. It's you need to know.
Yeah, and I feel like
Informed.
that yeah, that, like, informed consent or, like, that informed, like, understanding your anatomy and, like, what that works like probably spills over into, like, every aspect of
Everything.
it,
Everything.
and like you said, being a woman in general right now,
It's
like, you need to know.
There's so many
Yeah.
bans going on.
Mhm.
I mean, up in the air, propose. Like, we just don't know. I don't
Yeah.
trust a single person.
Nope.
I really don't. And I mean, that just goes into, it starts at conception.
Yep.
Hello. So tracking your cycles, knowing what's going on in your body, that's important. But that
Yeah.
also carries on into birth, into,
Yeah.
pregnancy.
Yeah.
If you don't like something your provider brings up, and do your research, your body. We know our body more than anybody.
Yeah. Right.
We are our biggest advocates. So if something feels off to you, or a provider or anybody is trying to kind of push something on you
Yeah.
and you're like, nope, I know my body, I'm good, I know the facts, you can advocate,
Yeah.
and then that leads into the birth room. If a provider is pushing unnecessary interventions on you, you
Yeah.
absolutely have that power. So I think it carries on. So it's important more than people know, but especially within the birth world.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. This made me think about advocating for just like in general, but specifically like in your doula work. Um, I feel like I had an amazing experience giving birth in the sense like my husband, like he probably could be a doula. Like he like he was great.
Uh,
So like I like felt like I was very supported. So like that,
uh,
but I know for so many people that's not the case for a variety of different reasons. And
yeah.
sometimes it's a lot of just like the provider pushing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but how do you feel like as a doula and a childbirth educator, you feel like you can like you prepare people well to advocate for themselves and then also like support them
Yeah.
to advocate for themselves?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of, and I can't speak on any other doulas because
Oh, right,
everybody
right,
is
right. Everybody
so
has a little different.
different.
Yeah.
But I think, and at least in my work, I obviously teach about labor,
Right.
how to advocate for yourself, how to know, okay, my work mostly is in the hospital.
Right.
I feel like a lot of my clients come to me because they want, the most physiological, unmedicated experience, but they want to be in the hospital,
Right.
which if you're a doula or a birth worker, just does not happen. It's like an oxymoron. Like
Yep.
you cannot have both.
It's hot.
It's very hard, and I will say I have had some like home birth hospital
Yeah.
births. It's extremely rare, but I think if you prepare and
Yeah.
educate yourself well and add, like, you will be golden.
Yeah.
It's possible. So my key thing is like, you know, teaching them about their bodies, and then also educating on these hospital policies
Yeah.
and the interventions, how to avoid them, and then like when they become necessary. But also, I'm teaching partner. and I'm educating
Mhm.
partner
Yep.
because I'm like, yes, I'm here, but your partner is a key role.
Like, they should probably, hopefully, know you much better than
They
I will ever do know you.
absolutely, and I tell them, I'm like, this is very much your experience as the birthing person, but it's also their experience too,
Yeah.
and they hold so much, this is your forever, hopefully. This is
Yeah.
your hopefully. I'm like, this is your person. They
Yeah.
know you more than anybody, so
Yeah.
they are we're gonna teach you how to do these things because that heightens your birth
Absolutely.
experience
Yeah.
and oxytocin and so I'm
Yeah, there's a
teaching
whole other
them.
rabbit hole you go down.
I know, I'm like, let me not. But I also teach partner and I get partner involved and
Yeah.
I'm teaching partner how to advocate, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I could be doing something and, the laboring person can be like, yeah, thanks, that feels great. But then you look at her face and you're like, nope, she didn't like that or what it
Yeah.
really means,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you're the expert
Yeah.
on them. So really it's both. But I love it. I love getting partners involved. I always ask them like, how involved do you want to be?
Right.
And then there's some that are like, I'm really queasy. I need to step out of the room. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. But then there's some that are like, I want to catch the baby. And I'm like,
I love that.
get in here.
Yes.
Let's do it.
That's so good.
So yeah, it just depends. But it's important also.
Yeah. Yeah. I I feel like we don't, like, generally as a society, based on the way that birth has happened
Yeah.
over years, we don't do a great job making partners feel super
Involved.
involved
Yeah.
or, like, present. Obviously, like, the person who's giving birth deserves everything that they
Yes.
they
Yes.
want,
Yes.
but, those partners, like, man, sometimes, like, they don't have any idea what's really happening unless they've been to a childbirth class or
Right.
they, like, have somebody else, like, teach them what else is going on.
Right. Yeah. And it's really hard. And like when I do these consults and I'm like meeting families for the first time or they're like exploring the idea of a doula,
Yeah.
you know, I make it well known I am not here to replace you,
Yeah, right.
at all. And I'm like, I always quote one of my other doula friends here. She always says, like, I'm sure your husband's awesome. I'm sure he's great, but he's not a professional. He's
Right.
not a doula.
Yeah.
And so I try to tell them that, I'm like, you're amazing. You're going to have key roles, but I'm also not here to replace you. I'm here to just like heighten this experience for you. I'm here
Yeah.
to teach you also, so that you can be involved
Yeah.
and not just being like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah.
so it's hard, but it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Very important.
Mhm. Alright, let's see, what else do we wanna talk about? Do you feel like there's something that you hope every woman that you work with or every birthing person that you work with feels or, like, experiences coming out the other end?
Yes. I honestly just hope that they feel happy
Mhm.
at the end and content.
Yeah.
Um, One of the biggest things that I tell people is birth is unpredictable.
Yeah.
We can plan for this as much as we want. We can have the 5-page birth plan and it's highlighted and everybody has
Yep.
a copy. But it is unpredictable and things happen. But
Right.
even in that aspect, informed consent, and education is still key.
Right.
Like, even though all these unpredictable things can happen and you might have to make some tough decisions in the moment, if they're decisions that are coming from you in like a place of confidence,
Right.
even in that sense, it can still like impact your experience,
Sure.
in a positive way. So I tell people all the time, like, as long as you feel educated and informed and these decisions are coming from a place of power,
Yeah.
that is a positive freaking birth and I'm
Right.
happy no matter how it turns out.
Right.
So I think I would say that, like, as long as everybody is content and happy and they always say, happy, all that matters is a healthy baby.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I roll so hard, like, that is not.
Your mental health is more important in
It's
my
like, okay,
opinion.
what the hell about me? Am I
Yeah.
just freaking, So I always tell people, like, Yes, we want a healthy baby. That's like the bare minimum. Hello.
Yeah, like that
Yes,
that should be like
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I also need to
But also that's not the case for everybody all the time, and it's
yeah,
still there's still power in
power
like
in those decisions.
in making decisions and being able to
Yeah.
support and be in
Yeah.
the best like birthing mental state as possible.
Your like postpartum, your healing journey, it starts at birth, really
Yeah.
probably pregnancy, but
Yeah.
the your birth experience shapes you
Yeah.
and it kind of like sets this like the scene for your parenthood,
Mhm.
postpartum era. I mean, it's hard. I still have, I don't want to say it's birth trauma, but I can still like remember the things that were said to me in birth and the things that happened. And you don't forget that.
No, not at all.
You do not. It's hard.
Yes, and it's such a vulnerable
Mhm.
place to be to begin with,
Right.
especially when you're in a place of like when you're in a hospital setting where you're getting poked and prodded at, even if like that's not your ideal situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's tough.
It's very tough.
I mean, like I went into my first birth totally fine, like with like I lived in Vermont at the time, and like
Yeah.
their hospital, the midwives could come into, so it was like a little bit, Vermont is a little bit more crunchy. So
We
like
love that.
we you could kind of like have like best case scenario of like unmedicated
Yeah.
birth, but in a hospital setting, which was
Great.
ideal for
Great.
me in that season
Mhm.
of my life. And but I remember it's also a like med school.
Okay.
And so I somehow like got the like gave birth during the time where they like clearly had like just switched.
Mm.
And the person who initially checked me was like, you're only like maybe 2 centimeters. And I was like, oh, okay. But it was like my first birth. So I was like, okay, like maybe I like don't really like didn't really know. They left and came back and they were like, no, you're closer to like 5. And I was like, they for sure left and like went and like measured their fingers or like checked with their attending or whatever. And like I was like,
Okay.
so going into my second birth, I birthed at the same place and I was like, I don't want any med student.
No
Like
students.
I am all for helping people learn, but
Sorry,
like
students.
not this time. But I
Yeah.
think like that comes into advocating of like knowing that like I didn't know that I could kick them out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that that was an
You could
option
request
that
like
I could
new
request
people.
or just like the students didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Like and that's part of advocating and that's part of knowing. Like
Mhm.
I talked to the person who was my provider afterwards and she
Right.
was like, "Oh yeah, he like doesn't really know what he's doing."
Oh,
And I was like,
no.
"Oh man."
That also, like, is so important, and that's why I always tell people, like, here are the stages and phases of labor, but, like, here's also what your body is gonna kinda be doing in that
Right,
sense. So,
right.
there's honestly no really need for a cervical check,
Oh yeah, which I didn't know. Oh,
which you didn't know. Now,
now
you
I
know.
know, and I probably wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
I tell people, I mean, there's so many stories all the time where like they'll move to the hospital and they're deep into active labor. And, the doula can tell because of their body language. They're
Mm,
super deep into contractions. They are not
yeah.
talking. They're just like in this rhythm. And then, you walk in and you're, hi, like, I'm a laboring patient. She's deep into active labor. She's feeling pushy. And then they're like, oh, we need to do a cervical check. No.
Yeah.
Like, I know for sure that
It's
this is
obvious.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have the person there like, like
Yeah.
wanting to push, and they're like, "Wait, we need to put gloves on," or like that viral video that just went
Yeah.
around of that laboring, the mom in labor, and the person in administrations was just typing away. So it's like in those scenes,
Yeah.
it's important.
And I mean, like, what an amazing thing to be able to have people like doulas who are there to just like help
Yeah,
be an advocating person. Cause obviously, the person who's giving birth, like, sometimes doesn't have the mental capacity to advocate in those moments because you're
absolutely.
focused on pushing a human out of your body.
Exactly. It's so vulnerable. It's such a vulnerable time. And I tell people it is an out of body
Oh,
experience.
for
Like
sure.
you're there, but you are far the hell away.
Yeah.
You're not coherent,
No,
and so
not at
you
all.
need to have a partner who can kind of like speak up in that sense. Or
Yeah.
a doula.
Yeah.
Or a doula.
I'm going to ask a weird question, but is
Yeah.
there a reason why you'd recommend somebody not get a doula? Because I kind of feel like the answer is always like, everybody should get a doula. That
Mhm.
works best for them. But like, is there a reason why somebody shouldn't get a doula?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Honestly, I can't think of
Yeah, that's always
to be
because I
honest,
feel
I'm
like
like,
I was gonna ask the question of like who should, but I feel like the answer would be everybody. Yeah,
everybody. I mean, doulas are so, and this is why I love the collective and the
yeah,
collective aspect because, I mean, nowadays, with just how expensive everything is, and
right,
it's almost like doulas are a luxury and not
yeah,
even, like, a necessity at
right,
this point. So, there's times maybe not everybody can afford a doula. There are doulas who will work on either a sliding scale, to be more accessible.
right,
I typically work on a sliding scale, or I also do like a maybe 1 to 2 pro bono a year.
hmm,
Um, and there's many doulas that will do that, work with payment plans, whatever,
yeah,
to make this care more accessible.
right,
It's needed. But I love the doula or the collective aspect of it because if I'm not the doula for you, maybe there's another doula for you.
right,
We have um on our inquiry form, would you like to be connected with another person of color?
yeah,
And so there may be somebody who is a Black Indigenous person of color wanting another
right.
Black
Because
doula
for sure,
because their needs are different
right,
and their maternal care is different.
for sure.
And it's an issue nowadays. So
Yeah.
to be able to
I mean,
connect
it's been an
them
issue for a while, but yes, it's
more now,
yeah,
I'm seeing it's not even more now, it's that people are seeing it now.
yeah.
It is
It's
becoming
becoming
more
more
prominent
obvious. Yeah,
and it's important. So everybody could use a doula,
yeah,
And I'm glad that Charleston has resources like that. I'm
yeah.
glad we have a lot of programs that can help um um, everybody.
How? So I didn't have a doula.
Mhm.
And I haven't ever sat in on one of the calls where, like, somebody picks a doula.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, go about helping people decide, like, what is important for them other than, like,
Right, right.
connecting maybe with just, like, feeling a good connection, but,
Yeah.
like, what should people look for when they're looking for a
Looking for a
doula?
doula, yeah.
Yeah.
I think first that person should kind of have an idea of what kind of birth they want.
Yeah.
Are they wanting to go unmedicated? Are they dead set on an epidural? Like, what does that look like for
Right.
them? Which is something that I myself, and I'm sure a lot of doulas do ask when they're like meeting with families first, but um, they
Because some doulas only do certain
some do,
yeah, yeah.
some do. Which to me is wild, but like whatever floats your
Hey,
boat,
I mean, a
people have
niche,
their
right? It's a
niche.
it's
People have
very
their
specific
wants,
niche.
yes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's some. I would just first kind of ask yourself, what do you want? What are you envisioning? What's important to you?
Yeah.
And then when you do interview a doula, some people might ask like, what are your credentials? Are you certified?
Right.
How long have you been doing this? Or like, what is your experience,
Mhm.
with birth? A lot of times people will just click with the doula on
Yeah.
a personal level.
Right.
Then they're like, that's my girl. I want her in the room.
Right, because you have to feel safe enough to have them in the room. Yeah. Yeah.
You definitely have to feel comfortable. You have to vibe. I mean, they're gonna see everything. It's there, but I think it is important. I've had so many clients that are now my friends and,
Yeah.
we get together and we check in and they're sending me pictures of their babies and
Yeah.
new milestones, and it's great to still carry that relationship into their parenthood journey, their
Yeah.
motherhood, their
Yeah.
postpartum, and it's special. So, I feel like if you can't do that with a client, I mean, there's definitely some that I don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yep.
Um, but I think it's important to just click,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's very easy for me just
Right.
because I'm so personable. But um, I would say, yeah, if you're looking for a doula, just make sure that you really vibe with them. It's
Yeah.
important.
And most of them do, like
Most of
a
them do.
free, like, "Let's meet up," just
Yeah.
to check it out
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Chat with them, do a consult,
Yeah.
make sure that you like their energy, even
Yeah.
in that first meeting, that first impression of them. And if they're not the doula for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
Keep talking and looking until you find one.
Yeah.
And there's a doula out there for everybody,
Mhm.
I will say.
Yeah.
So,
And there's some even who do, like, virtual support too, right? Yeah.
lots of virtual support over
Yeah.
Zoom. Yeah, there's so many. So
That's good.
find.
Awesome. Well, let's see. Is there anything else about the collective that you want to share?
I just love the collective.
Mhm.
Like, I could talk about it forever, but, um, I think if you are a birth worker or any kind of professional woman-owned business that kinda dives into, maternal, postpartum, labor, birth, I mean, anything, really anything.
Mhm.
And what's crazy about it is so the collective in Virginia, they have, like, over 80 collective members right now,
Oh, wow.
and it expands so much more outside of birth and
Right, you were telling me that there was all aspects of
there's
stuff.
so
Yeah.
many. They have truly grown, and I think it's because those connections that they have built
Mhm.
in the pregnancy and postpartum era. I mean, we don't stay pregnant forever. We
No,
don't
it's, like, it's very short in our whole mothering
we don't
experience.
yeah, like, we're pregnant for a short time, but then we evolve, we have a family, and then our kids need resources. We need
Mhm.
resources for our kids, like OT and speech and pelvic floor still. There's
Yeah.
so much. And then, you evolve as a family. Maybe they're looking for a house, maybe they're buying, maybe they need a lender, like, I have no clue. A life coach.
Yeah.
There's so much. And so, like, their thing was, like, doula you through life, not just
Love it.
through
Yeah.
parenthood and pregnancy, but through life.
Mhm.
And so they built those connections, just in the pregnancy world, but then those
Yeah.
families stay because they trust
Yeah.
them. They
Yeah.
trust ABB. They trust these referrals. And they're like, all right, who do you have for this? Do you
Mhm.
know anybody?
Yeah.
And then that is where the whole lifestyle collective portion of it comes through. So I'm really excited to kind of wrap up a little of this pre and postnatal era of
Yeah.
it and start building out our lifestyle,
I
which
love
we're
that.
almost done.
Yay.
But I shouldn't even say almost done because we're constantly
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love more people. But it's been really excited to connect with everybody in Charleston and just learn about them and what they do and how they serve the community and, you know, just get to know them. It's
Yeah.
been real fun.
I feel like it's it's an aspect of parenting and just being like a human that like having those resources and having somebody that you feel like you can trust to ask for those resources
Right.
is so helpful versus like just putting on Facebook for the 12th time, who has a favorite,
Exactly.
whatever.
Comments on there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not reading through even myself. I find myself asking sometimes, and then it gets like,
And you're like, that was a
and
one
then,
liner.
uh, uh, even, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I don't read through all those
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I don't read through them. It's overwhelming, and so that in itself, when you can just kind of go to one page, one area,
Yeah.
and everything is like laid out for you right there.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
So cool. Um, if somebody's listening to this and they're in the Charleston area
Yeah,
and want to connect as a professional,
yeah.
what's the best way to do that?
Um, Go on our website. It's abrighterbirthcharleston.com. You can shoot us an email. We have a little tab that says join the collective. So if you're a woman owned business that does anything with postpartum, momhood, pregnancy, labor, birth, if you're a doula, a postpartum doula, anything, get in here.
Love it.
We want to build this community and we want to be able to serve everybody. So
It's great.
just give me a hoot.
Perfect.
Instagram, DM, whatever.
Awesome. What do you want anybody listening? So, like, there's going to be some people who are not professionals listening
Yeah.
to know about like themselves, their bodies, and maybe advocating, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
what's your one thing that you like want every woman that you connect with to take away?
I would probably say inform yourself as much as you can. I mean, like I said before, knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more you can know the questions to ask and advocate for yourself. Like even if you can't get a doula, if you can't afford a doula, or you're in an area where there's not a lot of doulas,
Right.
or it's just it's not within reach, reach out. I mean, to anybody. I mean, I can
Yeah.
speak hopefully for a lot of birth workers and doulas along with myself, like if I had somebody that just shot me a message and they're like, "Hey, I've followed your content, I've been following, like I have questions, I need help." I will help.
Right, right.
I will get on a phone call, I will get on a Zoom, um, and help them,
Yeah.
which I did recently and it felt great.
Yeah.
She was all the way in New York and had some problems and, questions, and I'm like, "Let's sit down." I'm like, "Tell me everything,
Yeah.
here's your options. I'll send you resources,
Yeah.
referrals in your area," and she instantly just felt better. So even, if you can't access a doula, take a childbirth class if you
Yeah.
can. Take classes, talk to people, connect with your community, really inform yourself. I think you will have a great outcome even if you're informed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So important.
it is important in any aspect. I mean, not specifically just labor and birth, but
I think that spills over to
anything.
everything. I think that spills over into just, like, being a human. I think it spills over into parenting.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like about my husband and I have talked a we homeschool our kids right now, but, like, we've talked a lot about schooling in general, and I feel like that same aspect just, like, goes into everything.
So, I mean, like, you can't make informed decisions if you don't have the information,
Right.
you
Right, right,
know?
right.
And so I think that's just key for everything. And it sounds so silly and simple. Just inform yourself, educate yourself,
Yeah.
but it really is the key to like everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Awesome. Well,
that's what I'd
great.
say.
I think that's all that I can think of question-wise, but I'm sure we could talk for hours
That
about
was
so many
forever.
different things.
I know. I know. No, that's great.
So, is there anything that you wanna leave people with, either, like, connecting with you
Yeah.
specifically or with the collective? We'll put everything in the show notes, obviously, but
Right, right, right.
yeah, is there anything you wanna leave people with?
Yeah, well, I am, if you're pregnant in Charleston and after listening to this, you're like, wow, we either vibe or, you just need support. We have, like I said, a whole collective of resources and referrals and a doula for you. So our books are open for 2026, which is, I can't believe next month.
I know.
Gosh, time does not exist.
It goes by
Apparently.
so fast.
Yeah, we're booking for 2026. If you want your birth captured, I offer birth photography as well, but we're growing. We're starting 2026 with a bang. We have childbirth education classes, all of it. So I'm excited and hopefully I will see a lot of you next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Cyclical Doula podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much if you shared it with a friend or posted it on Instagram and tagged me at Cyclical Doula. If you've got a question you'd love to hear answered on the show, head over to emma.com/podcast to submit it. And don't forget, leaving a quick review really helps this podcast reach more people. Plus, if you upload a screenshot of your review on my website, I'll send you a special surprise as a thank you. You'll find all the details in the show notes about this show today, and I really appreciate you being here and listening in. I'll see you next time.
Welcome to the space where cycles breathe, where the real raw life of a mama leads. From motherhood's highs to charting the low, your body's story is the star of the show. Matriarch hearts, cycles that speak, charting the truth in every peak. This is the cyclical doula sound, where body wisdom is always found. Matriarch hearts, cycles that speak, charting the truth in every peak. This is the cyclical doula sound, where body wisdom is always found.
Just a disclaimer and a reminder that any guests on the show are views of their own and not necessarily views of Emma LLC or Emma Goff herself. Thanks so much.